Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our information session today for Business Management Certificate. My name is Divya Henrietta, and I'm the recruitment advisor at the Chang School. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge the land on which Toronto Metropolitan University is built upon. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and the Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. I thank the Indigenous peoples of Turtle Island for their efforts to protect the land, and I deeply regret the past injustices that they have endured. As Toronto Metropolitan University seeks to move forward in partnership with Indigenous peoples, I pledge to foster an environment that is more inclusive and welcoming of Indigenous peoples from all communities. Now, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's session. Your microphone is muted throughout the event so as not to disturb other attendees or the presenters. For the hearing impaired, we have automated captioning available, which you can access by activating it in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. You can submit questions for today's speakers at any time by typing them in the question box in your control panel. We'll collect them throughout the session and address them at the end of the presentation. Before we invite our guests, I'd like to run a quick poll with everyone just to do a quick temperature check. So please participate in the poll. It just helps us give good feedback. So we have two questions. The first one is, what motivated you most to consider this certificate? And the options are career advancement, career change, skill building for current role, personal interest, and other. And the second question is, what is your current level of familiarity with the certificate program? Starting from low, I have minimal or no prior knowledge, moderate, basic awareness, and high, I'm well informed about the program. So please take a couple of seconds to answer and participate. We'll have the poll running for a couple of seconds, and then we'll share the results. Great. So we have our results in with a tie between career advancement, career change, and skill building for current role, followed by other. And for the familiarity, we have moderate, I have basic awareness, followed by low, I have minimal, which is perfectly fine, which is why we're hosting the info sessions to answer all your questions. So now I would like to invite our guest speakers for the day, Neha Thakurdas, Program Specialist at the Chang School. Neha will now share a quick overview of the certificate and how it can help you develop the skills you need and learn more about the certificate. Welcome, Neha.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm excited to be here today to introduce you to the Business Management Certificate Program. As they've introduced me, my name is Neha. My pronouns are she and her. We encourage you to ask as many questions as you may have throughout this presentation. We will answer them towards the end, but I look forward to presenting this program to you. So what we'll be covering today, we'll be covering a basic overview about the business certificate, the structure, which includes the delivery and the format, and the time commitment involved in completing the certificate. We'll be talking about how this certificate is effectively a pathway, not just towards other certificates, but also the degree, the BCom degree, the coveted degree that a lot of people would like to be able to complete. We will also be talking about who is this certificate really built for? Who are the candidates who should be looking at pursuing the certificate? We'll also be covering the learner benefits. What are the supports, the resources, and the community that you are provided with when you come and become part of the certificate journey at the Chang School at TMU. We will also be covering about what your next steps need to look like or how you should go about registering. And last but not the least, we will go over what 3 steps you simply need to take to enroll today by the end of this session should you find yourself going, I cannot wait to begin that course in September. To provide you a basic overview about the Business Management Certificate program, the certificate has been developed in collaboration with the Ted Rogers School of Management, ensuring that the learning in the certificate is aligned with degree level expectations while still being accessible and flexible for our learners. The certificate plays a significant role in expanding access to business education for those of you who indicated that are interested in switching careers or thinking about further advancement, perhaps by completing a degree, and particularly for learners who may not follow a traditional academic path. At its core, the program is designed to meet learners where they are in their journey. So no matter where you are in your current trajectory of your career or academic pathway, this certificate is very flexible and aligned to meet you there. That could mean for someone who's building on prior education, returning to school after time away, or just exploring a completely new career direction. There's no single starting point, and that's the intention behind this certificate. This certificate is fully online and in a flexible format. However, the assessments, which I will go a little bit more in detail at a later point, are in person, is a key part of this accessibility of the certificate. Learners can balance their studies alongside work, family, and other commitments. So whether they choose to take one course at a time or move very quickly, they have the ability to learn in a way that fits their life rather than the other way around. At the same time, the program maintains a strong sense of structure and academic rigor. It provides a clear introduction to business fundamentals while also helping learners build confidence in a university level learning environment, which is especially important for those who may be re-entering education or for those who really want to send a strong signal to the job market that they're engaging at this higher academic level. Importantly, the certificate is not just a collection of courses, it's a pathway. And I'll talk a lot more about that as we progress through this presentation today. And where learners following the path, depending on the three outcomes you can follow, are earning recognized university credits that can be applied towards further study. So whether you choose to continue part-time or transition into a full-time degree at the Ted Rogers School of Management, you're already building momentum towards that goal. And last but not the least, this program is really designed to empower our learners to take meaningful steps, whether that's advancing in your career, which some of you indicated, developing new skills, or confidently just transitioning into a business degree, knowing that every course you take is part of a larger intentional journey. So again, just to recap, this certificate has been designed with the Ted Rogers School of Management. It is an academic rigor at the university level. The credits are transferable both towards this certificate, but also leading you to a different pathway. So how is this certificate structured? It's really been designed for working professionals and people with other personal and professional commitments. You learn online. With that being said, it's asynchronous. So there are two formats of delivery. One can be synchronous and the other is asynchronous. By asynchronous, it simply means that you log on at your convenience, at your time during the week when you're expected to go through the first week of lectures. There is no scheduled time, and you complete the learning for that week. The assessments for the courses are in person. What that means is your final exams and your midterms will be on campus. So you are required to be here at least twice on campus, and I think which is a great way of also starting to become integrated within the TMU community and also getting access to some of the benefits in person. However, if we have any learners in the room today who are joining us from far and are very interested and were attracted to the certificate because it is online, please know that we have accessibility to offer students invigilation across the world, no matter where you are. If you're more than 100 kilometers away from the campus, you're actually eligible to get accommodations to be able to complete your assessments off campus. So please know that that option is accessible. The certificate itself requires a learner to complete 8 courses. Each course is roughly around 39 hours or stretched over 13 weeks. And you require an average of 3 to 4 hours per week. The length for the certificate, it can be as short as 8 months if you decide to take 4 courses each term, or you can take anywhere between 1.5 to 2 years, which is a flexible and self-paced sort of determination on how you choose to plan out your journey through the certificate. And the investment is around $5,800 to $5,900, and that would really, the differential would be depending upon sometimes the courses you choose, because there can be a bit of a fee differential. But what I really want to emphasize and highlight upon is that these credits are all OSAP and grant eligible. And this is something that we want to emphasize on because this is an investment in yourself. So it's really important to know that should you decide to enroll and start on this journey of doing a certificate, this certificate is eligible for OSAP and grants. And we will be speaking a little bit more about that later. So as I mentioned earlier, the certificate has really been designed in a way to meet you wherever you are in your journey, in your professional, personal, or career journey. The certificate is best understood as a starting point in a larger journey rather than just a single destination. I often like to compare it to using a navigation app. When you enter your destination, the system doesn't just give you one route, it offers multiple options. You can take the highway for speed, local road flexibility, or even a tolled route for efficiency. The key is that you choose the path that best fits your needs and preferences. And that's how I like to think about the certificate. It's going to get you to your destination, and it could be any of those three choices that you see on the slide, but really gives you the ability to choose the direction you want to or the pathway you want to follow. The continuing education, that emphasis on the continuing education piece being that this is something that allows you to work towards meeting your goals on your timelines and based on your life circumstances. For some learners, this might be the most direct route, using the certificate as a pathway into the Ted Rogers School of Business Management's Bachelor of Commerce degree, where they can enter with advanced standing and continue towards a degree. For others, the options might be more appropriate where they are building on additional certificates or existing qualifications that they may already have. And this is what we like to call the multiplier effect. So you're layering skills in areas like accounting or ITM to strengthen your resume and career positioning over time. And for some of you in the room, this may be just a way to amplify or pivot into a different career or into business, and all you really need to do that is complete a certificate to signal the market that you have the academic understanding of what business is all about, and that is where your journey ends. So just to briefly recap, the three options you have or the pathways that you can follow by completing the certificate is you can directly use this as a pathway towards gaining an advanced standing towards the business management degree. You can complete the certificate, graduate, and amplify your resume. Or you could use this as a foundational base to be able to complete other certificates. So when we talk about the multiplier effect or completing other certificates and using the business management as a foundation, what I mean by that in particular is that at the Chang School, we have a policy whereby which the credits you earn, you get to keep them. You can use up to 50% of the credits that you have earned in the certificate towards another certificate that has the same shared courses. So you could complete a business management certificate today, and should you decide you want to even bolster up your credentials more and would like to complete a certificate in information technology, or now it's being called Foundations of Business Technology Management, you can actually use the credits you have earned, 50% of the credits you have earned from the business management certificate towards the ITM certificate. So again, this is what we like to call the multiplier effect. So regardless of where you would like to end up, this certificate is a great starting point to get you there at the pace, at the comfort level that suits best to your lifestyle. So again, I would just like to recap that this is a certificate that is built with academic credits as well as based on the foundational courses that any average student would take in the first year in the Bachelor of Commerce program. So this is a great, great pathway if you are really considering pursuing further part-time or full-time Bachelor of Commerce options through the certificate. And again, you can continue to build on it and take the ownership as you go through the certificate. But one of the things I want to emphasize on this point as well is if you are going to be going through the courses and choosing the certificate, it is important to register in the certificate early on as well, so that you can follow the pathway and also be eligible for grants and OSAP as well. So please remember that it always starts with registering at the certificate and starting with one course and building it up. But starting with the course registration is an important piece of being eligible for grants in OSAP. The certificate actually covers a lot of courses that are built to give you an overall understanding of the 8 areas that are covered under the BCom Business Management majors, specifically Economics and Management Science, Global Management Studies, Health Services Management, Human Resources, Entrepreneurship, Law and Business, Marketing, and Real Estate. So learners are exposed to core business areas throughout the certificate. One of the key strengths of this program is that learners don't just study business in silos. Instead, they take courses across a variety of the subject areas as highlighted on the slide. The intention behind this is very deliberate. Business and practice is interconnected. Decisions made in one area, like marketing, impact operations, finance, and people management. So for those of you who are looking to really amplify or pivot into business as a profession or as a career choice, by engaging with multiple disciplines, you begin to see how these pieces fit together as a whole system. Again, really projecting a strong signal to the job market that you are prepared to be able to do the responsibilities that are encompassed within the business field itself. Ultimately, the goal is to provide all the learners with the breadth and insight, helping you make more informed decisions about your academic pathways and career direction while building a strong, well-rounded business foundation. Next slide, please. So again, one certificate and a pathway forward. Some of the courses that you would cover during your certificate are, again, pocketed into these little buckets, which reflect the majors that are mimicked in the Ted Rogers Bachelor of Commerce degree. You can see that you can take courses from accounting. Under the business bucket, you can take courses in applied mathematics for business, global management, or business law. And again, just a caveat, you're required to do 8 courses, but they can be a combination of any of these 8 courses. They could be information technology courses, HR, marketing, and economics, along with accounting. So as long as you complete 8 courses, but making a choice from a selection from array of these bouquet of courses that are offered to you, you would be in compliance with the certificate requirements. Next slide, please. So this is a new slide we have introduced as part of our presentation because we really want you to take that next step in enrolling in the course of your choice today. And I also wanted to include this slide in our presentation today to emphasize how quickly you can actually complete the certificate and not just take 1.5 to 2 years. So this slide actually demonstrates our course offerings across the 3 academic terms. So at TMU, we have 3 academic terms, fall 2026 being from September till December, winter 2027 being from January to April, and spring 2027, spring and summer 2027 from May till August. So as you can see in the slide, all of our courses are across all 3 terms, really allowing our learners to complete this certificate as quickly and in the most flexible way possible. So you do have the options. One of the points I do want to highlight for those of you who are interested, CIITIM 100 is one of those courses that is offered only in person. So although the remainder of the courses you see on the slide here today are all online and asynchronous, again, which means there is no scheduled lecture time, ITM 100, which is Foundations of Information Systems, is fully in person, both the assessments and the course itself. Next slide, please. So again, going back to what we've been talking about throughout this presentation, that this business certificate has really been designed to offer our learners versatility as well as the most powerful tool to bridge into business-oriented careers. So rather than training learners for a single narrow role, the certificate builds on a broad and transferable foundation in business. That means graduates are not limited to one path. They have the flexibility to pivot across roles, functions, and even industries without having to start over. So for those of you who are already employed, this becomes a strategic advantage. If you're looking to grow within your current organization, the certificate helps you amplify your existing experience with formal business knowledge. It opens doors to opportunities in areas like project management, team leadership, operations, or strategy, allowing you to move into growth areas within your company and position yourself for advancement. This is also very important in today's evolving job market, where employers are increasingly looking for individuals who can adapt, collaborate, and understand the broader business context. So ultimately, the certificate is not just about gaining knowledge, it's about building career mobility. It equips learners with the confidence, the credibility, and the flexibility to navigate change, seize new opportunities, and grow in whichever direction they choose. Next slide, please. Who should really be taking this program? I think the poll that we do at the beginning of these program sessions are very helpful for us to have insight into the learners who are joining us here today and what your motivations are for actually pursuing further education, specifically, in this case, the business management certificate. So this certificate, again, has been very much designed and intentionally designed with different points for learners with different points in their journey. So I'd like to highlight some of the key individuals or the key learners we have established over the years that have really leaned into completing the certificate. So this is really for exploratory learners or working professionals who are looking to enhance or shift their careers. These are individuals who already have experience in workforce but want to strengthen their business skill set, whether in areas like marketing, accounting, or human resources. For some of you, again, this is about advancing within your current role. For others, it's about pivoting into a new, more business-focused position. We also have seen the learners who are looking to pursue this, who are keen on preparing for a degree. So many individuals we have seen in the past who've been very successful in completing the certificate and using one of the most promoted pathway is this as a laddering certificate into the degrees. So some of our learners in the past ended up dropping out of a college or university in the past because of personal or professional circumstances and other commitments. They use the certificate as a pathway to sort of reintroduce themselves to the academic rigor, the university environment, and slowly build up their confidence and their skill set to enter into a full-time or a part-time degree pathway. So again, this has been really, really helpful for a lot of our mature as well as learners who have taken gap years after completing high school and are now at a point in their personal life where thinking, okay, now I need to go back and complete that degree, but don't have that confidence level or want to get reacclimated to what the university environment and expectations look like. So people who have taken a break, either due to personal or professional reasons, gap year learners. So you could be a young professional who is 20 years old and now looking to go back into university just by completing a certificate, testing the waters, and then bridging into a degree. So, or you're simply just looking to explore business as a career. In the past, I've had the opportunity to speak to learners who were from a medical field, a health field. They were frontline workers and they were like, well, we can't do this work forever. We want to go into the more office business oriented work. And they used the certificate as an opportunity to explore that as a pathway and amplify the experience they already had into the industry that they wanted to go into. So these are the learners that would be very much suited. Next slide, please. So why you should be really considering to complete this certificate, of course, apart from the great advantages we have already spoken about, which is the pathways, the multiple pathways you can follow. It's really about your learning journey your way. So there is no application required. You can simply enroll directly right away and begin as early as 15 minutes after finishing the session. It's as easy as going to our website and simply adding a course from the certificate offerings that we have shown you today and adding it to your cart and checking out. I would compare this almost as easy as putting something to your Amazon shopping and checking it out and making sure that the product is delivered tomorrow. So it's as easy as that because we have taken away those barriers and the part of about a formal application. You can again explore, specialize, and strategize. This is a great way of testing the waters in the business field. Business is composed of multiple disciplines. So if you're really unsure where you would like to go or what you would like to specialize in, this is a great way of experimenting with the bucket of courses that we have in different subject areas and really figuring out and refining your pathway. Multiplier effect. I already mentioned this. You earn the credit, you keep the credit, and you get to use that credit. And that's a really important thing to have. In 2026, everybody wants options. Everybody wants to be able to have one item and have multi-purpose for it. So with that in mind, the certificate is very well designed and very well oriented for people who are looking to build and continue to build on credentials within a university academic environment. This is, again, one of the most important highlights and has always been a very attractive thing. It's a recognized pathway to the Ted Rogers School of Management, full-time and part-time degrees. Again, I would not want to emphasize we do have part-time options, so this is a great laddering pathway into those degrees. You do have to go through a formal application process, but when you do apply, your credits will give you the advantage of receiving an advanced standing should you be accepted into that program. And last but not the least, test drive university level business courses before committing to a degree. You might have this idea that you do want to complete this degree, but really are uncertain whether it's meant for you. This is a great way, a low commitment, low cost, and really an efficient way to still walk away with a credential at the end of it, but really test driving university courses to decide whether this is for you. So some of the learner benefits that, sorry, I want to go over some of the important dates because if you really are interested in starting to enroll courses, some of the highlights that we want you to walk away with today are some of the important dates. So the last day to register for the certificate is October 31st, 2026. Our enrollment deadlines are between September the 8th to September 25th, depending on when the course starts. You can go on our website today and register in the course right after this session concludes, but our courses also do start in the first week of September the 8th, so we do encourage any learner who is interested in starting this journey that they start enrolling on the courses now so they can have that head start. The course dates are from September 9th start date to September 14th, with the last date being December 18th is when the courses would conclude and examinations would happen. We also have a study week in the middle when there are no scheduled classes, and that is typically from October 10th to the 16th, which coincides always with the Canadian Thanksgiving. Last but not least, we would like to cover the learner benefits. So what are the advantages of coming and choosing the business management certificate here at the Chang School? You get access to a great academic and career advising team where you receive support for any questions and concerns you may have as you go on this journey to complete the certificate. You also get access to tutoring as well as for courses. We have up to 3 to 4 courses that you saw on that list that already have tutoring and mock examinations that you can become a part of as soon as you start taking the courses. So that is another advantage. You don't have to go out and you basically have to pay for additional tutoring if you're re-entering. You do have the advantage of accessing those resources. You also get access to industry connections. Chang School organizes a lot of events virtually and in person, which you can attend to get insights. You build a peer community of fellow learners, and you also get access to Chang School networking opportunities, which can help you advance your professional career or wherever you might be in your career journey today. We also have the certificate has been designed to be very flexible and online learning format, which again speaks to helping you get there quicker in terms of your career journey or your academic journey, wherever you are, emphasizing on the part that it is asynchronous and online, meaning you're not committed to logging on at 6 to 8 or 6 to 9. You can do that at a schedule that best fits your life. You also get access to the TMU ecosystem. You have full access to TMU library, digital learning tools, and learner privileges across the campus. So again, when you do come on campus, you will have access to those resources, but a lot of those resources are accessible virtually as well by simply registering as a student and being a certificate student at the Chang School. Financial support. One of the key things that I have seen over the years that has been advantageous for a lot of learners is the fact that this certificate is eligible for OSAP and grants. That makes it a lot easier for the learners to go on and undertake this journey of advancing their careers or even building towards the degree pathway that they have been wanting to do for a while, but in a most cost-effective and manageable way. We do have a financial aid office at TMU that is able to support you and assist you with any questions you may have. And again, these resources can be accessed virtually as well in person. So what do we encourage you to do when you leave here today? while the next steps are as easy as I mentioned as going on Amazon and adding something to your cart. To confirm that you meet the admission criteria, you only need to either have OSSD, which is your Ontario Secondary School Diploma or equivalent, with 6th grade 12U or M credits, or be a mature student status. And again, assuming that people within this room meet either or, when you do try to go and register, you will not encounter any difficulties, again, because we do not have an application process, making it very accessible and easy for individuals and learners to go ahead and enroll. You can register for the certificate right away, which allows you to be able to, again, access the grants and OSAP, because that is one of the prerequisite requirements to be eligible for OSAP. You can, again, enroll in one course or more courses, because you saw we have a huge array of course offerings for the fall 2026 term, and start your journey today. You can also review potential transfer credits for electives. So if any of you in the room have previously completed a degree or a college diploma, or went to university, completed some credits, but just stopped and never went back to completing that degree, I encourage you to contact our client services team and discuss questions with them, whether you can benefit from any of the transfer credits and the process to do that, which would effectively shorten the duration of your completion of your certificate, should you be eligible for any transfer credits. And if you have any questions or require any support, we're always here. We encourage you to contact our inbox at ce@torontomu.ca. And that would lead us to the last bit of it. And I am done. And I will now pass it over to Div and look forward to any questions you guys may have for me or regarding this certificate. Thank you, Div.
Great. Thank you so much, Neha, for your overview. So that ends the presentation portion for today's session. We will now open the floor to everyone for Q&A. Please enter your questions by typing them into the question box of the control panel. And here I can see we have tons of questions, and Raymond has been kind enough to answer most of them. But I would still read some of them, and Neha, if you have anything to add on, you can. So we have the first one here saying, if a student doesn't hit the GPA threshold for the pathway right after finishing, is there a way to retake or supplement to qualify later?
All right, could you repeat that question again, Div?
Yes, of course. So if a student doesn't hit the GPA threshold for the pathway right after finishing, is there a way to retake or supplement to qualify later?
So I would say that would be really a question driven by admissions, because they would really need to look at your entire transcript and they would advise you on what you need to improve on in particular to be able to qualify for admission. What I would also suggest is that just remember that there is a way of, using the certificate to multiply and continue to build on it by completing other credits for another certificate while you improve your GPA in fulfillment of the degree pathway requirements. But I think that would really be something that would come directly from the admissions department, that would process your application when you apply for the formal degree application process after completing the certificate. I hope that answers the question.
Great, thank you. So next we have a question from Luke. Luke, thank you for your question. So he says, since I'm a full-time employee, if I want to take the certificate part-time, is there a minimum amount of courses I have to take per semester?
And you probably see me nodding my head. And that's exactly what I've been talking about this whole presentation, that the certificate has really been designed with, the busy professional and working lives that individuals have and the learners. So there is no absolute minimum. You can take as little as one or as much as 4 to 5. It's really entirely based up to you. So there is no minimum requirement in terms of being able to enroll in the certificate today and start your journey today.
Great, thank you. So the next question we have is, how current or updated is the course material? Does it reflect recent trends like AI in business or remote hybrid management practices? It's one of the questions we have in every session
Session.
about AI.
Yeah. So I really want to emphasize on the fact that, because you are taking degree credits that are exactly the same course content that university students in the first year of the business management degree are taking, you bet that the course content is continuously being revamped and updated to reflect the market trends and requirements. I also want to caveat with this the fact that these are introductory courses. So you are taking introductory courses for these areas of study. So specifically, like let's say HR or accounting, so on and so forth. So where there is applicability, the content has been reflected uh, to sort of and has been updated because we are putting that same effort towards ensuring in our degree credits that the content maps onto the trends and the education we want to deliver to the students. So yes, if the degree credits are being updated and the degrees are being updated, you will see that reflected into the courses as well.
Great. Thank you for your answer. So next we have, do the courses cover soft skills like leadership, communication, or negotiation, or is it mostly hard business fundamentals like finance and operations?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. I think because these are, again, I'm going to go back to the fact that these are degree level courses. The degree credits are actually designed to give students not just the foundational understanding of the subject that they're studying, but also help individuals build skills that are important and transferable in the job market today. So, such as teamwork, presentations. So, you will see a lot of the course content depending on the course you choose. You will get to see the course outline and you will see if there is any group work or presentations, it's going to definitely be focused on that. To your point about communication, that would be reflected in the assignments or the coursework that you have to do. And the beauty of the Chang School is that whenever you're browsing through the courses that we offer, you can actually see the course outlines already in advance before you enroll into the courses. So you can get a sense of what would be covered in the courses before you go ahead and select and enroll into the course. So depending on your interest, I would choose courses based on that.
Great, thank you. So next we have a question from Luke again. So he says, let's say I finish the certificate and want to apply to TMU BCom. Do they allow that degree to be taken part-time? And would there be a minimum amount of courses I have to take per semester at TMU BCom?
So they do have a part-time degree offering. What I would definitely encourage you to do is, if that is something that you are looking to do after the completion of this certificate, that once you sort of start becoming part of the TMU ecosystem, you start sort of getting engaged with the admissions process as well and starting to understand what that would look like, what the expectations from the admissions committee would be for somebody who is coming from the certificate and using that as a pathway to go into the part-time degree options. The part-time degrees are designed for professional learners. And again, it would be a part-time course load. That would be a very admission-specific, undergraduate-specific question. So I would encourage you to visit our admissions department and speak to them directly because I don't want to misquote or give you the wrong information. But again, there is a differentiation in the full-time and part-time degrees for that very reason, because as a part-time student, you wouldn't be expected to take a full course load, which is 5 courses per academic term. So hopefully that answers your question as well.
Great, thank you. Next, we have somebody from an arts background, and they ask, is this something that will be a good fit for me?
I think again, depending on what you want to do with the certificate, really it gives you the foundational understanding, the very basic understanding of all the subject areas that are covered or offered as part of the certificate. So if we go back to our slides and you could see the buckets under which the courses are allotted, they're all introductory courses. So when you come into it, you're not expected to have any prior knowledge in accounting. You're not expected to have any prior knowledge in HR or in IT. You're going to learn the very basics. So I think to answer your question, if you have no prior knowledge, you come from a very different background with no understanding of business, you are going to get that understanding by completing all of these courses. So the journey should be quite smooth and easy one.
Great, thank you. So next question says, are there guest speakers, industry case studies, or real company examples woven into the coursework, or is it mostly textbook driven?
I think I will go back to the answer I gave previously, which is the course outlines will typically lay out a very good roadmap and plan for you in terms of what is being covered in each respective course. So if you look at our course outlines, depending on the course you decide to do, I'm sure if you decide to do a Marketing 100, which is Introduction to Marketing, or you do MHR, which is the Introductory HR course, the course content covered and what the expectations or assessments are going to look like are going to be very different based on the subject you decide to study. So I would encourage you to look at the course outlines, and if that is how you're interested in making sure that you are taking courses that gives you the advantage of getting real life examples or opportunities to learn from guest speakers, then I would choose the courses based on the review of the course outlines. So I hope that makes sense as well, that our course outlines are accessible for all learners to view. And I think they're a very great tool and insight into what you're walking into to help you make the most, I guess, well-rounded decision and making sure that you're choosing the right courses for your interests.
Great, thank you. So as of now, we don't have any more open questions. I would just like to read out one question that Raymond has kindly already answered, but just to let everybody know. So the question said, is there a capstone project or final integrative assignment? So as Raymond said that there is no capstone course for this um, certificate that has intro business courses and is an intro certificate that allows you to continue to TMU degree programs where you go more in depth. Those degree programs have capstone courses to conclude the degree program. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah, I would just completely concur with what Raymond has said. Again, I really want to sort of, um, I guess, emphasize on this message that this is an introductory business certificate. So if you have no knowledge of business whatsoever, it's the best suited certificate for you because it gives you an insight and intro and get your feet wet into all areas of business. Because really, business, if you think about in essence, is a profit generating activity, but there are so many aspects in an organization that drive the organization to be able to achieve that profit. And that's what you're really learning about. What function does HR play in doing that? What function does marketing play in helping the organization, achieve profit? So it's operations, but from the whole entirety aspect of what an organization would be composed of. So by the end of the certificate, hopefully you will know exactly what each function within an organization does by taking these introductory courses.
great. Thank you. So we don't have any other open questions as of now. Everyone, you can feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to help with any other follow-ups. So given that, thank you so much, Neha. And I would just like to thanks all of you as well for taking out the time today to attend today's information session. If you are interested in learning more or enrolling in courses related to our certificate, you can visit continuing.torontomu.ca. If you have other questions, please contact us at my email, devjot.mendiratta@torontomu.ca. You'll receive a follow-up email with this presentation, the recording of the session, and a survey within 24 to 48 hours. On the behalf of Chang School, our presenters and guest speakers, thank you for joining us today and have a great rest of your evening.